So happy to be here today on this lovely day here in Taos, New Mexico. I hope it's beautiful where you are, whether it's morning, day, or evening. And yeah, so let's first just settle. You may have already been working on that, settling into yourself. I'll start with myself here too, bring myself on board. Hmm. Ah, the body is such a great container for our spirit. And it might not feel great all the time, right? But that can be open to as well. So, hmm. Allow yourself to settle. That's the first step. Yeah. And just land here within yourself. In Zen, they call it taking the backward step. So take the backward step into yourself. And take the one seat. So you're here. You're located as much as you can be in your body. You, that, whatever words, just located here. Here now. We don't really give that ourselves that chance to just be here now. And then there's the breath. And check in and see, how is your breath doing? Is it a little bit superficial? And if so, then just notice and see if you can bring it a bit more deeply into your body. Opening and allowing. And noticing whatever is taking place. A little bit of maybe uncomfortableness or excitement, or still landing, being here. And just notice. And with the out breath, releasing, letting go. Whatever wants to go. In breath, always the opportunity to be here freshly in a new way. And the breath touches this musical instrument that we are, we're a tuning fork. So the breath touches our bodies and allows for the release of whatever is here to want to go. You know how dogs, when they finally relax, sometimes they shake out whatever they've been taking in. They just kind of shake and they start fresh. Breathing in, noticing whatever is here, body, mind, psyche. You can see where the breath is kind of held up, by tensions and whatever's there. It doesn't matter quite what it is. And then we release and let go. Freshly new. Emptying out. Breathing in beautiful air made by trees and Mother Earth for our use. And breathing out with appreciation and release. No need to hold on to anything. We don't need to recycle over and over whatever it is we're containing that feels ill at ease. It's allowed to go. I always like to say, here now, here now, fresh and free. Even with whatever you contain, here now, exactly as you are. Here now. Inviting some relaxation to come in. There's no need to be tense or hold yourself stiffly, your body. Let your body also be here now. And for the mind, just resting here. Nowhere else to be right now. Not even sure of what's going to take place in the next moment. For the mind, all is well. So we're nourishing different parts of us that make up this one whole. The mind that is scanning to make sure it's safe. So often you can tell the mind right now all is well. And there's nowhere else to be. This is a good place to be right now. It can relax its grip. It doesn't need to understand anything or know anything or locate itself even. The mind is hungry for release, of being in charge. Right now, you give a little vacation to the mind and say, all is well. This is what we're doing right now. And for the body, there's the medicine is welcoming, allowing. So first you notice what's taking place. It doesn't have to be in great detail. You just kind of like take a body scan and you notice what's taking place. Little pain here, a little stiffness there, a little fluttery here, whatever it is. Even relaxation, just noticing. And in that noticing itself, guess what that is? That's awareness. So being able to notice is being aware. Consciousness being aware of itself as body. So consciousness being aware of itself as body, and consciousness as awareness is open and isn't needing you to be any different than you are. Noticing is just simply noticing. What it notices is still getting on board of realizing that it is that, perhaps, for some of you, wherever you are on this map, spiritual map. What it's noticing can relax and benefit from being touched by awareness, being free and uncomplicated. It has no preference. So it's simply noticing. And that the beauty of that freedom, of the open handedness, of emptiness, it touches what it's noticing. Noticing, touching what's arising. Can you see that for yourself? That you're able to be aware that's consciousness itself. It's often overlooked that we have this capacity to be aware. We're just always aware. And that actually is free. That's the emptiness part of emptiness and form. Emptiness touching form. Emptiness touching what it's noticing. Right there, that's the essence of non-duality. So both this co-arising of your noticing, which is the unconditioned state, touching the conditioned state, and supporting it. What does it do when it touches? It loves it because it doesn't have a preference of how it is. It's in that state of allowing things to be as they are, you've heard. That's what allows things to be as they are. Not you as an idea of a doer, but that the ability to be aware, that awareness, touching what it's noticing, is allowing things to be as they are. And that's to be made conscious, okay? Become ever more conscious of this. There's something always noticing throughout the day. It's not far. It's just turning your gaze back and seeing that there's something that's noticing, making that conscious. It's always noticing, but are you aware of that? So you make this beautiful ability that lives in you at all times, you make it more conscious. You put your attention on it. There's something always noticing. These thoughts, these feelings, these sensations, the body, what's taking place, what's happening outside of you. There's something always noticing. That's why I call this meeting today Simple Truth, because I do find, while it takes some practice and some good pointing and commitment, I do find that Waking up to truth is simple. It's not meant to be complicated, and it really isn't. Because you contain everything you need. We just need some good pointing. I did. And I'm not saying I'm the only one giving good pointing out there, by the way, but it's just that we're here now together. Sharing with you what has been helpful to me and what worked for me, and which is an open secret. So I like to use the word noticing because awareness can get kind of like, woo, kind of confusing, except for those who use it in a way that works for them, right? The word. So we're always able to notice and be aware of what's taking place. So this is this kind of capacity that we're born with, to be self-conscious. Kind of makes us unique, perhaps, as creatures go. I don't know for sure. But it also is what creates a lot of complication and problems and suffering. But it's also the way to our own liberation, to our own remembering. Okay, the ability to be self-conscious, self-aware. So you place that ability, use it. It has created the sense of being divided, and it can lead to feeling reconnected. Makes sense? The reason it has made us feel divided is because that ability to look at ourselves, which is noticing, yeah, to look at ourselves can make one feel like there's two here, the duality. And then the separate self sense is born, which is feeling divided, yeah? And we know that's not true, right? There can't be two of us here. There really isn't a separate self. But sometimes we speak like there is, and we believe in it, and we believe we need to get rid of it. That's not how one realizes truth, by working with something that doesn't exist. And go back, you step back, do that backward step inside of yourself, okay? That's, again, leaning out into the world I call Maya, which the world itself is not Maya. It's the veils we place over the world, that's Maya. The world itself, Mother Earth, not the human created world, that's something else. But Mother Earth is not Maya. She's pure. All form is from the one, is the one. There's no separation there either. It's these misperceptions we place over reality, that's Maya. And that is also what we do with ourselves. Misperceive that there are two of us, that there's whatever. You know what I'm saying. So back to noticing. And just notice, where are you at right now? Where's your mind? You're trying to figure this out. It's okay. Let it go. Just noticing and really letting it be. Just simply noticing and letting it be what you notice. It just what is here. Your mind is as it is. Your body, what you're feeling, what you're sensing. It is as it is. And that allowance, it is freedom. It is free in that allowance. It doesn't really have preference. It's the unconditioned. So it's noticing the conditioning, all the condition there, just notices. And that's what they call spirit, your being, divine intelligence, the divine awareness, emptiness. All words for pretty much the same thing. It accompanies you all day long till your very last breath. So they say, as you've heard, that this kind of lives in the background, this spirit being. It has a, why does it live in the background until it comes to the foreground, right? Coming to the foreground means that you've become conscious of it. So it lives in the background, still operating, still always noticing, aware, always free of what it's noticing. It's just planted in us. It's the God part that is unconditioned. And how do I know this? Because one can wake up to it. Many of you know this. You've had glimpses, or it's abiding, or you had just little tastes, enough for you to be here. Wherever you are on this inner spectrum of your journey, you've become aware that awareness is always here. You can have different words for it. And you make it more conscious. That's your practice. That's spiritual practice, okay? You become ever more conscious of it, meaning, is it here? Can I feel it? Can I sense it? And what did I say? Can I feel it? Can I sense it? It's the mind looks, but the experience goes throughout the whole system, where we have bodies and sensing capacities. And that's the Ananda of Satchidananda, the bliss of being. You're meant to be able to sense it and feel it. Let it suffuse your body. It can be kind of more dry, which is fine. Not dry is good or bad. Just it can be more abstract. Mind is looking. This is still here. Oh, I can feel the notice. I can see it. I can notice it. How does the mind speak? Mind says it's still here. There it is, kind of like a light or an emptiness, spaciousness. But there's a looking that's, more embodied. It includes the mind, of course, but it's an embodied looking. Noticing is here, always here. And it has an impact. It has an arising that touches the body. I call it the felt sense of presence. And that's very important. It's not just like, oh, I'm a body type, or I'm more yana, I'm more mind oriented. You might be, but it's meant to be inclusive. It's meant to touch all areas that that background comes into the foreground in an awake way and is living in the here and now within you in a conscious way. And you feel it, you sense it, it's alive. Satchidananda, Sat is truth, and Chit is consciousness, and Ananda is bliss. So truth exists within consciousness. Consciousness can be used to be aware of itself. And the result is also Ananda. It touches your body. Does this make sense? Maybe, we hold back. I'm just going to go see all the other people. Hi, people. I'm going to switch screens here. I always say that this is the science experiment. Okay? And you're the science experiment. And if you're not feeling and sensing presence increasingly, then it's not really coming home. But you have to also allow yourself to feel the bliss of being. Many of us protect ourselves from feeling good. Isn't that an odd thing? Like we chase it. Is the sound okay? Okay. We chase it. Like, I want to wake up. I want to feel presence. I want to know truth in my life. And then we play hide and seek with it in ourselves. Yeah. We're the ones that put into time, by the way. But we only put it into time once we have had the understanding of what it is that we're supposed to be doing to realize truth. Until then, it's just sort of unfortunate that we don't actually know what to do. Yeah. But once you really understand it, like, what am I supposed to do? Well, I'll give a few little pointers that go along with what I'm talking about. The reason why meditation is so important, but then one has to do it in a way that's actually works. The reason why meditation is so important is because it's supposed to help you in your system, in your mind and your nervous system, in the body, relax into being. To relax into the gap, into the spaces in between thought. Which exists before thought, too. But just to relax, and we'll also call it the unknown. the unknown. So that which isn't formulated and known, it's the relax into the unknown. And we have to kind of train ourselves to be able to do that, because we've been so conditioned to move away from just resting and being. We don't even know those words, of course, when we're young, but we get conditioned over time to always be focused on content, what's taking place on the outside, what people want, what I'm supposed to be like. And then we get really noisy inside. And so then we want to run away from the noise. And then we get more lost in content, more lost in the doing things and being distracted, right? To run away from the noise. So I really applaud everyone who's here to be doing this for yourself. Young, middle-aged, old, whatever age, wherever you're at. I applaud you, because in this day and age, it's increasingly more challenging to just land in being here. Like, who even knows how to do that anymore? You all know what I'm talking about, right? With the phones and with everything. Just land in being here. Just being here for a moment is like heaven. Like, when that opens up, it feels like a spiritual experience. It is, in a way. Because the now, right? Land in now. Oh, like animals, they're still in the now. Don't we want to be more like that? Made of the earth, one with the trees in the now. Resting on rock, not needing to be anywhere else. I feel sad that we've gotten so away from the simplicity of being. But all is not lost. So I say, grab that dragon by its tail, okay? The dragon of presence. I love dragons. So grab that dragon by the tail. It whips you around, that dragon tail. And you hold on. And that's your commitment. That's your attention. Your attention is your power, okay? Your superpower. Your ability to put attention on whatever it is, your focus. That's God beaming consciousness onto something. So you place it on that, in that gap. You place it on that, where your undefinedness, where you're just relaxed into not needing to be anything. And you learn how to stay there increasingly throughout your day. So that's what meditation, why it's so good. You rest and relax into that, into being, into undefinedness, whether it's through a short little mantra meditation, which I have on my YouTube station. A Soham meditation is very helpful if you need some, some pointers, to following the breath, to relaxing ever more deeply into yourself until you are just in that undefined space, and you stay there. And you learn to. But it needs to work, whatever you're doing. And if it doesn't work, then I like mantra, like a Soham meditation kind of mantra, some kind of mantra, short, seed sound, not not like Western words, like not even I am. I am could work, but I like something that kind of just your brain doesn't form anything around. And I walk one through that kind of meditation. If you're looking for something, if you have something already, great. But the point is to grow that ability to in between thoughts and just think into your being. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? Okay. And then during the day, you can check and see, is this still here, that kind of undefinedness. Are you able to? It's really a lot of waking up is about relaxing. You can see that because when you relax, then your gaze softens, your body softens, the boundaries of feeling like a contracted separate self softens, and you can relax beyond this idea of being in this kind of encapsulated place, and you kind of just expand the boundaries of your personal self into the vastness. And functioning can still take place, and you can practice that. So you're relaxing and you learn to talk from there. Talking is happening, feeling is happening, thinking is happening. There's no need to be so defined, you know, and it's very healing and very healthy to be less defined, okay? At first, you might feel a little, interesting, but you will find out over time that you can actually function and quite well without needing to be a defined separate self doer. Okay, try it out. And still, the noticing can take place anytime you feel like it. Those are two different types of pointers. But noticing, oh, the contracted self is relaxing. Noticing that there's no one thinking here, it's just thinking is happening. Noticing that there is a felt sense of an I arising. So we're not trying to make anything go away. That's really fighting with what is. And it gives it more, it just complicates things. Yeah. Fighting, arguing with what is, resisting. It's more of an Aikido move. So you notice the I arising, the separate self sense arising. Well, all right, it's here. So what is free of that? It's noticing that, and it helps it. It really helps that part that is confused. It's just confusion, okay? It's not real. So remind yourself. It's just I like to say the felt sense of being a separate self is a felt sense. How do you know it? You feel it. You feel this being a separate self. So become familiar with feeling separate. Like make it conscious. It's a vibration inside that's out of harmony. Like an animal, imagine an animal just got a shot of separate self. You know, I have a dog I just adore. And there's no separate self there. She's just, you know what I mean? There's no, doesn't seem like there's a self-reflective mechanism happening there. There's intelligence. But imagine that a dog gets a shot of separate self sense, it's going to freak out because it won't feel like it's one with its environment anymore. Yeah, they can be anxious, they can be complicated, or you know what I mean, or at ease, dogs, but they don't feel separate. We get that. We're the only probably creatures that have that kind of illness. So that separation, it is a virus, but it's like what it arises out of being able to reflect, and then you reflect on yourself, and then that reflective mechanism makes you feel like there's two of you. There's the one that's looking and what it's looking at. You hear the birds in the background? I don't know, maybe not. Got a little argument going on back there. So it's looking at itself, and so it feels like there's two over time. And that creates so much complication. And right now I'm going to talk about the body. Body is in distress and existentially confused. The body feels ill at ease. Does everybody know what I'm talking? Do you feel ill at ease when you're not feeling settled in your being? You should. That's healthy. And that's also what gets one to become a seeker for wholeness and wanting to remember. Well, of course, we wouldn't be doing this if we had forgotten completely, because you wouldn't know you wouldn't even be after something you don't know inside exists, right? Like if there's a fruit that lives in the other dimensions but doesn't exist here, we don't even think about it. So the reason why you're thinking about it at all is because you have a sense of it somewhere, taste of it. So yeah, the body is deeply affected and disorganized and out of harmony with itself by believing the whole system believing that there's a doer, that there's they're separate, that you're so perhaps some of you have heard this from my talks, or I have a meditation online on my YouTube about, I feel like Mother Nature is the best teacher, because there's no division there. Human beings can realize their undivided nature, and that it's a wonderful modeling. But Mother Nature is everywhere at all times, and uh, displaying wholeness. And the fact that we feel separate from Earth it reveals how deeply entrenched our own belief in being separate lives in you, in oneself. Yeah, does that make sense? It's like a pure scientific experiment. How separate you feel from, I'm not talking about people. Forget people. No. Forget people right now, because people are complicated. It's not their fault. But I'm talking about as a teacher, as a way for you to become back in alignment with yourself, the earth and the heavens and the sun and all that. It's just all the sky. I mean, all of it is, and animals and creatures, and they're all uncomplicatedly, undividedly themselves. True? So just take yourself outside and sit in by stream or on the ground, take your shoes off. Spend time in nature and just feel your body and what you're looking at, what you're taking in, and open to it. And let yourself feel be taught. See where your projections are. See where, the longing. Feel the longing. When you're one with Mother Earth, you're one at home in yourself. Do you like that pointer? You know, may have heard it before, but do you like the pointer in the moment? Does that resonate? Yeah. So still you practice on the cushion, they say the cushion is meditation. You practice, you're noticing. Noticing is here. And noticing is free of content. It's just noticing. And then over the time, what you're noticing, it starts to harmonize when it's allowed to be. Because everything wants to come into alignment. So when you let it be, I'm not saying you let your actions remain unkind or your language to others be unconscious. You do what you can. But at the same time, there's always this noticing that's letting it be. And when what it touches becomes ever more awake to this emptiness part that's always touching it, it does harmonize. It wants to be cleaning up its act out of self-love, not out of moral codes. Yeah, you should do this and be a kind person and blah, blah, blah. Treat your body in this way or that way. It does it out of love. It's like, ouch, it hurts when I speak unkindly to someone. It hurts when I eat junk food or whatever. Because what is touching it is free of that pain. And it is an acceptance of however this is showing up, the display. So the conditioning inside, because we're all conditioned, everything that we're doing is pretty much, when it's not coming from emptiness itself, it's coming through conditioning. Good or bad, doesn't matter. A lot of conditioning is fine. Most conditioning, let's hope, is fine. It makes you kind of unique and you. A little fiery, a little bit this or that, It doesn't have to go as long as once it's harmonized, it's just, there's a little fiery personality there, or someone who's some people are not into what's political life and others are. It's all kind of conditioning, and maybe even from other times, other lives or whatever. It's not bad per se. Every of these birds that are making these noises outside right now are, they have their conditioning. Maybe they got kicked out of the nest too soon. I don't know. You know, talk about dogs. They have the conditioning, right? They're like, if they've been abused, they'll have their responses. But one nice thing about resting in your being increasingly in meditation, okay? In the gap, in the unknown. One nice thing about noticing that you become aware that you're aware is that it really does help heal this human being that suffers. It doesn't make everything go away or anything, but it maybe what it leaves is deep empathy and compassion because it knows suffering. And there may always be a little pain there, just because realization is, let's just say awareness is aware of itself permanently. The noticing itself is ever present. And that's just one aspect of awakening. But they call it abiding when presence is known in an abiding way, in a felt way, in an awake way in the mind. And the heart is open with unconditional understanding and love. One can still feel suffering, even for what has taken place in your own body and in your lifetime. It can still arise, but you can never go to sleep again to reality. Reality is awake to itself, with its eyes open like Clockwork Orange. Did you watch Clockwork Orange? Would you like a boot camp awakening retreat? Yeah, you can't go to sleep. It's awake to itself all the time. Yeah. But it's not just this clear seeing and this kind of open-eyed way. It's also a heart understanding of the oneness of reality. That within the oneness, all these things are taking place. You, the noticing, the pain, the world, Mother Earth, all these things are arising within this larger landscape of the container that is the whole. Everything's arising in that one whole. So that means suffering can arise, and a past wound could come up, but it doesn't ever make one go to sleep again. Pain in the body can arise. Old age can arise. The last breath going to happen. So enjoy your breaths. Enjoy your breaths. Okay, we're coming to the end of this 1 hour, and I like to open it up. Did I give my pointers that I wanted? Because there's so many. Truth is a lover of what is. Don't complicate things. Digging one well deeply. Oh, maybe I'll touch on that. Okay. Digging one well deeply, in brief. Just dig one well deeply. What does that mean? You are the well. Dig and dig and dig in that one well. Don't let yourself get distracted by too many teachings, teachers, even though you're here with me. Some of you have never met me. But hopefully we're all pointing to the same thing, okay? complicated, flowery things that is supposed to lead to awakening. No, grab that dragon's tail and hang on. Rest in your being. Put your attention on it. Notice these kind of pointers. So dig the one well deeply, and don't imagine that by watching a bunch of spiritual YouTubes, you're going to wake up. Bup, bup, bup. Oh, I have a little quote that I wanted to read that is from Moi, from some years ago. Truth is beautiful and it is ruthless. It is the best house cleaning service around. It will empty you out until all that is left is love. Yeah, okay. So continue to rest your attention on stillness inside, on your being, until it becomes second nature, until you don't have a resistance to not being something. Just that you become comfortable, and then you become even a lover of the emptiness. It always have to be something. Filling in the gap, the space, okay? And then notice it during the day. Is it here now? Even while things are happening. And and it will grow. So presence will grow. The ability to be present to present will grow through your attention and through your commitment and love. I just want to be really clear and say that I was a complete gog up over truth. I was completely crazy in love with presence. And once I got a hold of it, meaning I got a taste of it, I went for it and just kept going there. Because I was more in love with it than I was in love with being lost in content. And that's what you need. You need to be that kind of crazy in love with the emptiness that you are inside, and truth and presence, whatever you want to call it. I'd say a lot of words. I probably should stop that, but I just don't know which one will click for you. But what's important is that you keep going there and fall into that gap and go there and go there. And then you feel it in your body. Let it fill you up, and see how you play resistance to that feeling of bliss. And it doesn't have to be like, it could be. I mean, it can be, but it also could be very subtle. But it's just the bliss of being, it's called. And then you love yourself enough to be able to feel that. One of the reasons we don't let ourselves feel just the bliss of existence. We're meant to be just happy being here. Not that everything has to be just right to be happy. I'm waiting for it to be right, because it ain't going to happen. Have you noticed? Little moments. But that's not where we put our attention. That's putting it into the world, and holding the world as a promise outside of ourselves that it's going to deliver, that then eventually we'll be happy. So the bliss of being is just the bliss of existence, of just being here. And we're meant to feel that and live that way. No matter what's taking place, it's there. It can move in the background, sure, when there's things happening, but it's always there, and it's becoming more conscious that just being here alive is incredible. There's a felt sense to it, to being. The bliss of being is being itself. Waking up to your being has this joy of being noticed. So you awaken to yourself consciously. Awakening is just becoming conscious. Being conscious that you're always here and that is always here. Okay, enough of that.